It's time to kick it off. So I want to invite our CEO, Andrew Fingerman, back up to introduce our next keynote speakers. Andrew, welcome back. Great to see you.
Thank you. Thanks, Kristen and Yoav. I just have to say the transitions have been phenomenal. I can't believe we're already halfway into the day, and we're really pulling it off. You guys are doing an amazing job.
Thanks for sticking with us, everybody.
For those who didn't get to meet me earlier with the welcome remarks and my amazing set of giant bulky headphones that are keeping me with clear audio throughout the day, I'm Andrew Fingerman. I'm the CEO here at PhotoShelter. I'm so delighted to introduce our next guests because this topic really fuses a few of my deepest passions: photography, baseball, and football. When you step back and you think about how the leagues build and engage their fan base, you immediately realize the importance of photography and how it plays an absolutely critical role, both in terms of capturing the best of the action on the field and sharing that, but also the ways that photography is used to build intimacy with our favorite players, both on and off the field and before and after the game. As we dig into their presentations, you'll appreciate the very complex set of end users that both Jess and Ben need to accommodate all throughout the year, not just in the regular season and playoffs. They have departments and partners throughout the league who need photography to do their jobs. And so they're going to speak a bit about that. So I'd like to introduce our guests. Jessica Carroll, she is the director of MLB Photos. She's been with MLB for nearly 12 years now. And prior to MLB, Jess was a picture researcher and photo editor in the golf world at both Golf Digest and USGA. And Ben Liebenberg is director of photography at the NFL, where he has also been for 13 years. So we have two very experienced folks in their various leagues and organizations. And prior to the NFL, Ben was a photographer and photo editor at Wire Image. So each will have a presentation about their workflow, and then I'm going to rejoin for a few minutes of Q&A after. So I'm going to hand it off to Jess now to begin.
Thanks, Andrew, and thanks to all my friends at PhotoShelter for putting this great day on and having me. Happy to be here and happy to share this space with you, Ben. Thanks so much. Let me make sure I've got the right screen up. You all can see my slides.
Yep, looks good, Jess. You'll just want to hit present on your slides.
Cool.
Yep,
thanks.
Perfect.
Awesome. All right, so today I'm going to show you an inside look at Major League Baseball Photos workflow. And our kind of mission is to leverage current technology to deliver high quality images in the moment. We all know how technology has developed, and you've got great cell phones that can deliver images instantaneously. We want to use the camera, the high quality professional DSLR camera images and get those out to end users in the same amount of time you can with a cell phone. I'll start with a little bit of an intro on what Major League Baseball Photos does. We document and preserve the visual history of the game on every level. We maintain a film and digital archive. I have to add, we've been talking to many colleagues over the last few months, and several who have been frustrated by the limited access they've had to their archive. One of the best things we've done is to have our digital content uploaded to our PhotoShelter site, and that's not just a plug, it's true. And it's been invaluable to have that content at our fingertips while we're all working from home. Most of us unexpectedly. I was working from home before, just to give you that insight. We document the history of our game, and when we do so, we look to tell the story with an image. When I send a photographer out on assignment, we often task them with capturing a day in the life of baseball. We cover it from a more journalistic approach, which has been a transition from how baseball was covered by MLB historically, and a shift from your traditional stock baseball photography. So I'll share a few highlights with you from the past few years. And my thought is, we have athletes performing at their highest level. I want our photography to be a reflection of that and at the same caliber. You know, we of course cover action, but oftentimes we cover it in different ways and from different angles. And then there are so many other aspects to the game beyond just the action. You know, there's of course reaction and celebration, both on and off the field. You know, the fans are a huge component of our game. And it is a scenic sport. And then there's so much in the details. And there can be a lot of beauty in the quiet moments as well. Coming from a print background, I really have a passion for producing portraits. So that's always one of my favorite jobs. We often do player portraits during All-Star Week. And in baseball, you know, it starts at the grassroots level. You know, we cover our sport, you know, not just at the major league level. Just because we're MLB doesn't mean we don't cover the game at the youth level as well. And there can be a lot of opportunities to make beautiful pictures. You often get a lot more access. And it can be really scenic as well. So this is a photo that I want to just show, this one and then the following image, as an example of, you know, how we look to tell the story. You know, this is Derek Jeter's 3,000th hit, and in true Derek Jeter fashion, it was of course a home run. You know, you have to anticipate moments. Every sports photographer knows that it's not just about capturing the action, but it's about knowing when that action might take place. So you prepare, and you know, one of the great things we do as a team, and you know, with our photographers who work with us, we collaborate and we put ideas together and we bounce them off of each other to prepare for, you know, how we're going to tell that story. So, you know, this is a great action photo. The ball's in the frame, it's composed well, exposed well, but it's kind of your run-of-the-mill action photo without context. You don't know that it's Derek Jeter's 3,000th hit. Our photographer at this game, Rob Tringali, you know, had the idea to put up a remote camera in the concourse, which, you know, as you zoom out, you really get the context. You get the fan reaction, you get the picture, you get, you know, today you would see everybody holding up the cell phone, so it's kind of dating it, you know, so it's just kind of a little time capsule within those four corners of this frame. So now onto our workflow, and this looks a lot scarier than it is, but it is a complex workflow, and we'll dive into this and come back to it. But it's of course not enough to just take the photos. You must then get them out of the camera and into the world. So again, I'll dissect this a little bit later. But it's an evolution. You know, the technology doesn't operate in a vacuum. It's constantly evolving, and our workflow has to reflect that. So, you know, I think a good example of sort of when we started seeing success with this real-time workflow was the 2013 All-Star game at Citi Field. And we put a lot of planning into our All-Star games and all of our events. You know, we start planning All-Star on site a year out, and you know, we have, you know, repeated meetings with various, you know, counterparts at the departments, at the teams. And you know, Citi Field was opened in 2009, and so the All-Star game took place there only 4 years after it opened. But still, they hadn't wired, you know, that was still 7 years ago, and they hadn't wired the photo wells with Ethernet lines. So we had to really push for that, and it was an uphill battle, but the Mets did a great job, and they wired those camera positions. And as a result, you know, when we partnered with our partners and we work with them, you know, Getty helps us eliminate any lag time, and they work with us on the licensing part. They're our licensing partner, but our end partners like Nike and New Era, they like to receive images in real time from these events. So we worked with them on what they were looking for, the type of storytelling images they needed, and we came up with a plan on how we could deliver using a FTP to PhotoShelter link that was pre-distributed. And as a result, we were able to send images in real time that Nike had. And I just love this example because you can see, David Wright gets a hit. It's a single. He gets to first base, and Nike's able to put this image up on their Twitter feed in seconds. And I love that one of the comments, it was so gratifying, but one of the comments was, he literally just got on base. How is this already up? And to me, that was our success right there. That was what Nike wanted. That was what we wanted to deliver. And the instant feedback from, end users, fans, was just kind of the icing on the cake. On to another moment. Of course, this has been a big moment in baseball's history. The Cubs breaking their curse of the Billy Goat. The 2016 World Series, of course, in dramatic fashion, it had to go down to 7 games to be decided. But of course, the 6th and 7th game weren't going to be played in Chicago. So working with our team of photographers, we decided, after game 5, the Cubs won. This would probably be our last opportunity to capture this moment outside of Wrigley, and getting the crowd involved and the marquee saying Cubs win. It's just the story is told with the pictures, with this picture. But then it was really fun to see, the excitement on the field, the energy, the reaction. And because we were able to distribute those images so quickly, we saw a broad number of uses, from our partners, like, we've got Chevrolet with the MVP that they use in a print ad. We had our World Series DVD film poster. We have social media by MLB channels plus partner channels. And then we have publications both produced by MLB and some notable names like Sports Illustrated and Life. And of course, through the years, we have to refine this workflow. Now we have Ethernet lines run to photo positions at each of our major events. Some are in there permanently, which is great. We've incorporated other technology into our workflow, such as Drawbridge Digital and the use of Google Drive. Photo editors can remote edit games live. And then we did a Greenfly integration that has allowed us to make photos available for our player social program. So I promised we would come back to this. But yeah, you can see once the image is captured, at the start of, that's where it all starts, well, it starts with the planning, but we'll start with that content capture. We FTP images from the camera, and they're routed through Drawbridge where metadata is applied. And then they're delivered both to Google Drive, so we can work from our desktop to add additional caption information, round out, any details, maybe do any color correcting that's needed. And then we can upload, social media can access it there, and then we can upload it back through Drawbridge, and it can get routed to a designated folder on our PhotoShelter library. From there, we have implemented the Greenfly PhotoShelter integration, where we can keyword tag Greenfly, and through the API, Greenfly can scan our library and just pull images over into the player social program channel, and then we can distribute images to players. So this looks so much more complicated than it is, but it actually happens in seconds. Like I said, last year we implemented the PhotoShelter Greenfly integration, and we had photographers at every game of postseason, and they were all sending in live. We had remote editors who were captioning and color correcting, cropping as needed throughout the games. And then images that were on PhotoShelter, like I said, are tagged with the keyword Greenfly, and they're pushed through to Greenfly, which our players are signed up with, and they're able to pull them down and put them right onto their own social channels. And it's also really fun to see, you know, this is Aaron Judge congratulating Derek Jeter when he was elected into the Hall of Fame earlier this year. You know, it's fun to see players, you know, using content to sort of talk to and congratulate other players. And the fact that we are able to tap into our archive and, you know, push the final game of Derek Jeter's career at Yankee Stadium to Aaron Judge, and for him to be able to use that, it's just really fun to see all of that coming together. And like I said, there are a variety of end uses. You know, we distribute images through our licensing partner, Getty Images. We use them in-house on our own channels. And then, of course, social media is a big one these days. We still do print. So we have the All-Star Game program and the World Series program. And we also get, you know, some other editorial publications pick us up through Getty. At our events, we print banners using player images, you know, both our international and domestic events, our youth programs. And so that is this complex system in a nutshell.
Great, thank you, Jess. Now
Yeah.
I'm going to hand it off to Ben to take over and share a little bit about his workflow and role at NFL Photos.
Sorry, are you guys able to see my screen?
Yep, can see
Yeah,
no
looks
problem,
good.
Ben.
Perfect. Sounds good. So
You can just hit present on your slides real quick and you'll be good to go.
there we go.
Perfect.
All right. Well, Jess, that was great. First off, pretty cool to see how you guys do everything and run through all that. And secondly, thanks for PhotoShelter for having me and including me in this great thing that they're putting on today. So, like Andrew said, my name is Ben Leanberg. I'm the Director of Photography and Lead Photographer for the National Football League. Actually, July 1st will mark my 13th year of being with the NFL, and it's been a remarkable run. I've witnessed quite a bit and seen a lot of really phenomenal moments, you know, and that's really what I kind of wanted to talk through today with everyone and kind of give everyone a small glimpse into how we capture those moments and then bring those moments to life with our fans. So the NFL photo team, it's a fairly small team. We have a group of photographers, you know, positioned around the country, you know, from Florida to Chicago, Cincinnati, Dallas, and a couple guys here in LA. And we have a really strong, solid team of editors that are based in our LA office. And so what our job as the NFL photo team is to essentially supply imagery for the entire company, whether that's our events team, our marketing teams, PR teams, as well as all of our you know, digital media teams like NFL.com or our social team. You know, making sure everybody has what they need, making sure all of their events are covered, and things like that. We also, you know, around our major events like a Super Bowl, you know, we're going to have a 100+ assignments in about a 10-day span. So we cover a lot with a small amount of people, which is, when you take a step back and look at it, it's a pretty phenomenal thing. So, you know, our job here I'm going to walk through our game day structure. You know, on a regular game day on a Sunday, we got a lot going on. But our job is to capture significant historical moments, you know, capture big plays, touchdowns. So, you know, the Super Bowl, it doesn't get much bigger than this moment, you know. It's an amazing thing to be a part of. It's a roller coaster of a day, you know, and this is kind of the moment that we want to be there. We want to make sure we're capturing. You know, our team is there at the stadium, 4 to 5 hours early. They're there when players get off the bus or drive up in their car. So this is a great shot of Cam Newton, very early on in warm-ups on a game day. So pretty cool, unique angles. We're looking for things that are different, giving fans a unique look into what our photographers see. Peak action, that's what our guys do. And I think this is one of my favorite shots from the 2019 season for sure. We capture touchdowns, big plays, big moments, great leaping into the end zone shot. We also capture small moments. This is, pregame warmups, national anthem, it's kind of those few moments where you can kind of see a little bit more of the personality of the players. It's a more intimate setting. There's a lot of amazing moments that can be captured in this short period of time before a game actually starts. We also capture some of the misses, and just sometimes they make great photos. We capture behind the scenes moments. Post Pro Bowl, Lamar Jackson and Russell Wilson doing a jersey swap way after the game in the locker room hallway. We're on set. We do a lot of on-set stuff with our NFL Network colleagues. So sit down interviews and things like that. We also are everywhere there could be something happening, and I think this Tom Brady Peyton Manning shot was just it was really just luck that a member of our team was running through the hallway at the Super Bowl when these two guys were by themselves taking a quick selfie. Definitely one of the best moments from Super Bowl Sunday. We catch peak action, touchdowns, unique moments. I think the photo of OBJ giving Tom Brady a cleat was phenomenal. The cleat was actually made out of goat hair, so pretty awesome. And who thinks to make a cleat out of goat hair except for OBJ? So, and we are on the field until the players leave. So from start to finish, we're out there. We're capturing moments. So, like Jess, we have a workflow. And we all know that everything starts with the photographer and the camera. And we have done multiple various ways of sending photos. We've tried wireless systems, we've tried bridge systems, we run cards, we do tethers. And we're a little different in the fact that in football, you're not stationary, like in MLB or NBA or NHL, you're not moving that much, so it's a lot easier to run cables. So at games outside of, obviously the Super Bowl, where a lot more people are stationary, we run a lot of cables right to our photographers on the sidelines, and they're not moving. But on a game day, we have, I've walked upwards of 10 miles during a game. So there's a lot of movement. So our ultimate goal is to keep the photographers on the field. So what we did is we worked with our IT department in New York, and we found a place where we could hardwire two Ethernet cables at every game. And that just turns out that it is the instant replay cart. Every game has one. So we know it's there. It's run by our IT department. So we have real-time access to tech support if anything happens. And, obviously if we don't have internet, the instant replay cart doesn't have internet. So that's, can be a big problem. So that was really fortunate for us to have that and work that out. So every stadium has 2 drops for us that we can connect 2 cameras at a time to. So from there, when the photographers connect their cameras, they're sent to our FTP. We have a team here in LA that is watching those FTP folders, and as soon as those photos hit it, they can grab those photos for editorial requests for NFL.com, our mobile app, our videos get a lot of imagery implemented into them, especially on a game day. we're cutting a couple hundred videos on a Sunday. And so from there, the images are cropped, toned, and captioned, and then they get moved over to Libris and PhotoShelter. And we've through PhotoShelter, just like MLB, we integrated with our social partner, which is Socially. And as soon as images hit PhotoShelter with a specific keyword, they get moved over to our player social team, which is great. So they can start compiling those photos and have them ready for the players as soon as they get back to the locker room and get to their phones. They can start posting to Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, whatever social handles they have. So pretty cool thing that we were able to accomplish last season as well. And then also once they hit PhotoShelter, we share a link ahead of time, and those photos can be accessed by all 32 teams. All of our internal groups, whether that's our social team, our NFL Network team, marketing, PR, international, whoever needs it can access those photos. And from there, they get sent and used in various places. So I kind of want to walk through next a few of those instances and a really good case study we did. So this was Christian Wilkins. He was drafted by the Miami Dolphins at the 2019 NFL Draft in Nashville. Our photographer, Perry Knotts, was right in front of the stage, tethered, and he captured this moment. And within a minute or so, we had the image on NFL.com. We had it on our social handle. The Dolphins were able to use it. Even the commissioner, who never changes his avatar, changed his avatar to the photo on night one of the draft. And I think probably the crowning achievement in all of this was by 8 a.m. the next morning, the Dolphins had the photo printed out and plastered on their elevator door. And so anyone walking into Hard Rock Stadium on day 2 of the draft walked and saw that photo. So definitely a pretty cool thing to see the way everything was used and distributed. Here's just some examples of how we share photos amongst large groups. The players are using stuff, the teams are using stuff, and at certain marquee events, we share photos with the schools as well, like the NFL Combine or the NFL Draft. So you can see Alabama, Duke, things like that. Our photos are being used and seen by a lot of different departments and are seen by a lot of fans. Here's some more examples. Players using photos, you can see from our NFL Honors Award Show, red carpet, Kyler Murray, Saquon Barkley. You can see some of the players that were in the Super Bowl using our photos. And I think probably the biggest delight for us was seeing Patrick Mahomes, the Super Bowl MVP, use our photo, that we sent to him through PhotoShelter and Socially. So definitely a really cool thing. I hope this helps kind of just give a small window into our workflow. I'd just like to say, please, if you want to see more photos, follow the NFL photo team on @NFL Focus. And I want to say thank you to everyone for watching, and thank you to PhotoShelter.
Thanks so much, Ben. That was outstanding. Actually, Ben and Jess, I loved seeing what I call the content journey, that from watching how the content flows from moment of capture into ultimately the fans' hands. I think it was really special and nice to see how unique each of your workflows are as well, and the various tools that you use. I think we have about 10 minutes for Q&A, which is great. I wanted to just start with actually the easiest one of them all, which is, do you have any questions for each other?
I probably have definitely some questions that kind of, one thing I was thinking through as I was listening to Jess is, what is it like for you guys in how you work through, putting up tethers in various stadiums? Obviously, I'm assuming it's probably similar to how we are, is there's 32 different people that you have to work with, or not 32, is it 30 baseball teams?
Yeah, we're
Um,
just 30, don't worry.
yeah. But like, how do you work through those kind of logistics? I think that was one thing that kind of came to mind for me.
Yeah, it's a big challenge. And, one of the things that we actually task our photographers with was, we try not to be stationary. So yes, we have the camera wells and that's a fixed location, but, you know, we have some photographers who put about 10 miles on their feet in a game as well. So we work with the clubs. We have a set of clubs who our IT, we have a group of consortium clubs who our IT group actually manages their Wi-Fi. And then, so that kind of eliminates a section of them, which is helpful. But then we also have great relationships with the team photographers who have good relationships with their IT contacts. So we just have a lot of calls, especially, ahead of postseason. You might have, 18 teams vying for a postseason, spot. So you start planning and you cast a wide net and you just start troubleshooting. And, we're constantly surveying the clubs on, the status of their connectivity, where they have access points for Wi-Fi, what their Ethernet situation is, and how it's maintained, because we do deal with the elements, of course. Rain and weather can wear away at those.
Great.
Well, I was going to ask you, I have a couple questions for you, Ben,
Okay.
but in terms of the connectivity, was it a challenge? I know bandwidth is always a struggle, but did you get a lot of pushback when you, brought the idea of putting Ethernet lines on the instant replay cart?
We didn't get a lot of pushback, which was surprising on that. We obviously we didn't go to our IT team saying, can we put it on the instant replay cart? That was actually, they came back to us and said, hey, here's our option. We had kind of approached it because we knew there was internet going to the sidelines. We just didn't know it to what extent. And, because there's various carts there. So they actually came back and said, yeah, let's put it on the instant replay cart. That seems to be the most logical thing, obviously, because there's a lot of concerns about, someone being too close to the bench, and that's a little bit separated, so that actually surprisingly went really well, and they were very accommodating for that. I think we've always had a really good, relationship. We've been with our IT team. We've been, running cables at our events for, I don't know, 7 or 8 years now. Starting with Super Bowl, and we've kind of evolved that to essentially every marquee event we're running some sort of connection, for cameras. It's one of those things, you need it. It's the tried and true method of, getting stuff out fast. So I think we built up. It helped that we had that relationship, with our IT team, and it's been roughly the same guys, for that entire time, which is a good thing. So they kind of knew what we wanted to do. They knew the importance of it, and really helped us push it through really, really easily.
That's great.
Yes. I have a question around, so each of you have the experience of 10 plus years in your organizations, and you wouldn't be where you are if you didn't have the ability to conceive and sell ideas to take the use of photography or the capture of photography to the next level. So I'm curious if you could share any tips around how you do conceive and sell these ideas in your organizations. I'm sure given the couple hundred people that are watching, I bet they could all relate to those needs.
For us, a lot of it is, what moves the world, right? Money. I think when you look at the bottom line and you show the impact that getting this content to marquee partners can have, and what success those partners can have connecting with their audience and bringing our brands, together to their audience, being able to deliver and meet those needs, the rest all falls into place. So it's really driving home the end results. Of course, there are a lot of great byproducts as a result of that, but it's finding, I think, in my strategy, it's finding what is the most valuable end results, and how do we get there? And then the proof is in the pudding. You show everybody what you're capable of doing, and that it's making these partners happy, and then that kind of just snowballs.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
How about you, Ben? Any different take? Or
Yeah, I think a lot of it, I agree with what Jess said. It comes down to resources and time and money, but ultimately when you go in to whoever you're talking with, have your your pitch locked down. You know what you want to accomplish, and be ready for that. I think a lot of it, you can make or break an idea just by the your pitch of it.
definitely,
Yeah.
definitely. Are there, I'm curious, any surprising stakeholders that you end up working? Clearly, both of you have the very expected stakeholders around social media, the web, and some of the ultimately print users as well. I'm curious if there are other like surprising stakeholders that you need to serve with photography throughout the day. I'm curious, any surprising feedback?
I think we work with so many groups. I think at this point nothing's like super surprising that they would need something, but I think one of the some of the kind of the oddest ones are, and I get it, but like we'll be asked to shoot, like, and Jess probably gets a lot of this as well, especially around our events, is we'll be asked for really kind of random things like, hey, can you get a picture of this is one of my favorites, the recycling bin that says Pepsi. So things like that, that it's just like, you're like, okay, yeah, like, I think those are the kind of things that surprise us.
Yeah, I had
I'm
to
sure
approve the
someone
use
worked
of
hard to
a
get
urinal photo yesterday.
There you go.
Jess, are they putting sponsor branding on the urinals now?
No, someone was doing an art project. No, but I think Ben's, touched on it. It's really, photography is unique in that we touch every area of an organization. And I can't really point to many other groups or fields that have that pervasiveness throughout an organization. And so it's really surprising how many stakeholders we have, and it's everyone from our executives who might need a headshot or art for their office, to the partners who want billboards, and to our facilities people, and or even legal documentation of trademarked images and things like that. So I don't think there's a group in our organization that we don't work with.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I said at the beginning, it's the role you play is absolutely critical in connecting with the outside world. I do have one more question that came in via the Slack community, which was, do you foresee, obviously the media has been highly focused on, due to COVID, is the season going to happen? Is the season not going to happen? But specifically with our world, do you foresee any changes to the role that you're going to play, and or how you're going to be able to execute your jobs going forward as the seasons do, in some modified fashion, look like they're going to happen?
Yeah, I'll start off because we've been actively talking to the teams, and like I said, like we plan for postseason. All of our planning is the teams and our counterparts at the teams, and the PR directors and the IT departments, and the facilities and operations, that they're all integral in us being able to do our jobs. And I'm really grateful that we have the workflow that we do have in place, because I feel like we're set up for success now, and it's just now the planning hurriedly begins.
Yeah, I think.
How about you, Ben?
Yeah, I think
a little bit more lead time, right?
Yeah, MLB's a little bit further along than we are. We're having those conversations. We're planning our schedule out and trying to we're planning for a full season. Until we hear otherwise, we have to. So we're just doing it probably a little bit earlier than we normally would. Just so we're having those conversations, because ultimately there's a lot of people that are involved with putting on a game on any given Sunday in any given stadium. So, we're definitely involved in those conversations, and just kind of following the lead, from our executives and talking with the players and the players association and stuff. So we're just kind of preparing as we normally would, but just a little sooner.
Well, great. We are just about out of time, so I wanted to thank you both. So deeply grateful for you lending your time with us today to share your workflow, share some inspiration and outstanding photography with the audience. Also, just on PhotoShelter's behalf, we're so deeply grateful for your loyalty and partnership as we have been working together for quite some time now. So thank you both.
Yeah.
Hopefully you'll stick around as well for the afternoon.
Yep. Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you
Andrew.
for having us.
Thanks, Ben.